Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Fatima. I am a 28-year-old millennial living in the beautiful desert of Las Vegas, Nevada. I currently work in fintech as a deployment representative and onboarding coordinator. Currently, I make about $97,000 a year, so very close to about 6 figures. I do have other sources of income such as Etsy, selling online, and taking surveys. Overall, the majority of my income does come from my corporate job in fintech. Today we're going to be doing one of my most favorite things to do at the end of the month, which is closing out my budget. It's currently January 28th, and I know that we still have a couple of days left over in January, but I want to take the time today to close out my budget just because I just don't think I'm going to be able to in the next couple of days. I just feel like right now is the best time to do it. So we're gonna close out January, and I am of course gonna leave myself a little bit of cash flow to work with for the last remaining days of January. I can already predict about how much I'm gonna be spending tomorrow. I do need to do a little bit of grocery shopping, and that's pretty much it, but I do want to give myself a buffer to work with as a just-in-case situation. January tends to be one of my least favorite months of the years because I usually reflect a lot on my holiday spending during the very beginning of the new year, which is of course January. But this time around I decided to do it a little bit different, where I did most of the reflecting at the end of December rather than the beginning of January. And it worked out really well because majority of my credit card bills, I decided to just take care of them right away at the end of December. And that really helped mentally with just this beginning of the year. I'm not really the type of person that likes to set goals right away. I have a really hard time doing that. I just feel like that's a little unrealistic for me, and it also sets expectations that I know I'm not going to meet right away. So instead of doing that, this whole month of January, I decided to use that as a reflecting month, not for the holiday shopping, but for what I want. So we're also going to go over that a little bit at the end of this video. I do want to set goals now. I feel like I'm a lot more ready. I tasted the waters this month. I thought a lot about where I want my money to go this year, what I want to do with my money, what are the certain expenses that I need to prepare for in the upcoming months and also the rest of the year. And I feel a little bit more prepared to be able to set up the goals that I need to set up to be financially ready. So let's get started. First things first, I want to go ahead and make sure that all my transactions are up to date. So I'm going to go on my iPad right now, and I'm going to use my budgeting app that I like to use to be able to balance out all of my wallets. And by wallets, I mean my bank accounts, my investments, any investments that I have on a specific budgeting app that I use, and any cash that I have on hand as well. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. And I'm also going to go over my receipts because they help me go over my transactions and categorize all of my spending. The app that I like to use to be able to get myself organized before I start working on my spreadsheet is called Money Plus. Not sponsored at all, but it's one of my favorite apps to use. It's super cute, super fun to use, and it's a lot of manual work. There is a cloud-based system that goes between different devices, but there's no automatic information that's being pulled from your banks, which is perfectly fine for me. I've tried many different apps that do this, and they just did not work out for me. I truly did not like them. I like to manage my own money manually, be able to place things into categories in my own way, in my own format, and I just feel a lot more comfortable doing that. So I'll link it down below if you're interested in checking it out. Once more, it's not sponsored. I just really love this app. I've been using it for about 3.5 years, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're just starting out with budgeting. It's really user-friendly. I've completed some of the balancing of my wallets, which include my debit accounts, my checking accounts, my credit cards, A couple of my investments, but not all of them, are being tracked on the app. And all that I am missing right now is my sinking funds, which are in here. I haven't used my sinking funds for quite a while, and for sure, one of the goals that I want to make for this year is to utilize my sinking funds a lot more than I was utilizing them before. So in order to do that, I'm actually going to be taking my sinking funds to a bank, and I'm going to be placing them into a high yield savings account. I feel that having the sinking funds as cash has definitely forced me to not utilize the money. And I think it has to do with the psychology trick of you see the money in your hands, you're less than likely wanting to use it because it's tangible cash in your hands. And that's why cash envelopes work so well. And I'm actually considering going back to cash envelopes, but I'm trying to test it out this month, trying to see if I can really force myself to not spend as much as I was spending last year, which I think I am doing a good job. Actually, I think I'm doing a great job. So hopefully I don't have to go back to cash envelopes, but if I do, I will. The last thing that I am gonna balance out is my sinking funds, and we're gonna go ahead and take care of that. Then after that, I'm going to be completely done balancing out all of my accounts, all of my wallets on my app. Then we can move forward to the spreadsheet. I have 8 sinking funds that I will possibly be transferring over. Some of them I might not. So the ones that I for sure am going to be transferring over are going to be my vacation sinking fund, my auto maintenance sinking fund, car registration, Christmas, DACA renewal, advanced parole, pets, and I'm also going to be creating additional sinking funds such as my car insurance, since I am starting to pay that every 6 months rather than paying it monthly. It's just been a lot easier. It's been a lot easier to manage as well. I'll also be creating a moving sinking fund because we are going to be moving in a couple of months. I want to be able to have an easy moving process, and this time around I do want to hire movers. When we moved from Hawaii to Nevada, it was very difficult doing all of that on our own, and it was one of the most stressful moves of my life. Moving there was not as hard. When I moved from California to Hawaii, it was actually not that bad because we pretty much started all over. We only moved with 4 suitcases and 2 cats. And from Hawaii to Nevada, we moved with pretty much everything that we had, or as much as we could. We got a pod, and then we went from 2 to 4 cats. So it was a lot more difficult. It was a longer process, and we also added an extra car to the moving process. It was very expensive, very expensive, and very stressful. Of course, this time around, we're not going to be moving overseas. We're going to be moving from one city to another city in Nevada because we decided we're going to stay in Nevada for another year. It should be easier and it shouldn't be as expensive. I definitely want to have a sinking fund just so that the process can be a lot more smooth and I have no surprises. So the amounts that are currently in each individual envelope right now are not going to be the amounts that I'm going to move forward with for the month of February. It's going to be kind of like a starting all over type of situation. I do have some information of my sinking funds on my iPad. I created a PDF document that helped me track them throughout the year of 2023. However, I did stop tracking my sinking fund around the time frame when we decided to move to Nevada because once more, time was of the essence. But I did track the last amounts that I had, so I know I have been taking out of certain envelopes, but I know where that money has been going. I will not be inputting that information onto my spreadsheet just because that happened in 2023, and I did already account for that amount of money on my Money Plus app. I just have kind of like I have an offset category that helped me keep track of that. So I'm gonna look at the numbers and I'm just gonna match and subtract and then just update it on my Money Plus app. I definitely didn't do a great job last year of using my sinking funds. I know this is a little bit repetitive, but it goes to show you how bad I didn't pay attention to them, because my DACA sinking fund is still full of cash. And I actually already renewed my DACA, so that means I didn't use my sinking fund. And what's a sinking fund if you're not gonna use it? And if you're just gonna let the money sit there and waste in potential interest, right? I know a lot of people prefer to have their sinking funds as cash, and that's perfectly fine if you're gonna use it. But if you're not gonna use it like me, then it's pretty much a waste of a sinking fund. Girl, I cannot with you. In this DACA sinking fund, I should have $460. Once more, this amount I should have used last year when I renewed my DACA, but I didn't. So this is money that is going to probably be placed into a priority sinking fund like my moving or my car insurance sinking fund, because those are coming up in May. Both of them are, I have a goal date on my car insurance, and my car registration too. For my car registration, I have a goal date of May 25, 2024. Car insurance, I have a goal date of May 1st, 2024. And then I also have a goal date for my moving sinking fund for April 15th. So of course, the moving sinking fund is going to get priority, and more than likely this money is going to get placed in there first. Now, the goal that I have for my moving sinking fund is $2,000. It's kind of ambitious, I would say, for me to want to get to $2,000 by April 15th, but I think we can do it. So let's count up this money. I actually have 150 in this sinking fund, which is really interesting. So once more, that goes to show how bad I kept up with my sinking funds. Right here on my tracker, I have 460 as of July 22nd. And that's not the amount I have in here. So I need to make sure that I keep track of the current amounts right now. So I'm just going to use a Post-it. The next sinking fund that I'm gonna count up is my Advanced Pearl Sinking Fund. This one is also for my immigration. The DACA is for my immigration. It's my working permit. I do have to renew that every 2 years. And then I created an Advanced Pearl Sinking Fund about 2 years ago. I'm really hoping that this one I can get it out of the way. By getting that out of the way, I wanna send out my Advanced Pearl application. And actually, now that I'm talking about this, I have a goal date of March 15th. And I think I can totally do it because it's $575 for the Advanced Pearl application. So by March 15th, I want to go ahead and make sure that it's just taken care of. When I go to my Advanced Pearl application tracking sheet, it says that I should have 200. So let's see. Yes, I have 200, which is perfect. I am actually glad that that is 200, because I was getting a little concerned. The next sinking fund we're going to count up is going to be my pet sinking fund. So let's see, this one, as of July 24th, 2023, it says that I figured it out. So the totals are out of whack on my spreadsheet, completely out of whack. So I can't really count on these totals. I'm just gonna have to count on whatever's in here, which is perfectly fine, but that's kind of a pain. 50, 60, 70, 85, 86, 87, 89, 100, 200, 300, 400. This completely makes sense. I did remember having a lot more money in here. However, I did have to pull out some funds earlier last year because one of our cats had to have surgery. I only pulled out about, I think $2,500 because I decided to just put the rest from my checkings account because I had the money in there and I was able to do so. And I also wanted to have a little bit more money remaining in there just to last me till the end of last year, which is this amount. The amount of $500. The next sinking fund that we need to check is my auto maintenance. So in this sinking fund, according to my spreadsheet, can be or cannot be right. I have $770. We'll see. 70. 120. Yep. I had to count this one like 3 times just to make sure. And yes, I can confirm I have $770 in this sinking fund. The next one we're going to check is my car registration. In this sinking fund, I should have $500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $500, we're good to go on that one. The next one that I'm going to be counting is my Christmas sinking fund. And this is another one that I don't think I pulled out from. I was supposed to replenish it with the money in here back into my checking account and I never did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 50. I actually have $650. Makes sense because that was the amount that was remaining as of March 29, 2023. I do have July 24, 2023 highlighted, so I'm starting to understand what's going on here with the spreadsheets a little bit better. Some of the spreadsheets have a highlighted date, and the highlighted date means that I have yet to contribute to get the specific total amount. I probably wasn't able to contribute, or I forgot, or I just didn't do it. I stopped. And that is exactly why this year one of my goals is to stay up to date with my sinking funds. I'm really hoping that I could do that because when it comes to sinking funds, it has been a mess. It has been a major mess. I have a vacation sinking fund. The date is highlighted on here for $650, but the one date that is not highlighted, which is March 29, 2023, is $300. And I should have $300 in here. 100, 200, 300. Yep. The sinking fund that I'm going to be getting rid of this year is my Costco membership sinking fund, and that is because we shop there enough to get a free membership, a free executive membership. Never thought I would say that, and I actually worked there for 5 years, I think. That's actually where I met Dylan, where I met my husband. I don't actually have a spreadsheet for the Costco one. I think I've been trying to get rid of this fund since 2023. This money has been in there since 2023, probably since the beginning of 2023. That's kind of sad. This money is gonna go to a different sinking fund, but I should probably have 120 right here. 60, 80, 90, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 120. And yes, I have $120 in my Costco sinking fund. Like I said, this money is going to be placed into a different sinking fund. Now that I have my totals for all my sinking funds, I'm gonna go ahead and add everything up, updated on my Money Plus app to make sure that my cash section is up to date and balanced out. What I do plan to do in a follow-up video, I'm just gonna dedicate that video to my sinking funds, is I wanna take the time to allocate certain amounts of money into specific sinking funds that have priority and pretty much start all over and put that money into a high yield interest savings account. That way I can manage it better and I remember to actually use my sinking funds. So I won't be doing that today just because I still have a good amount to do in order to close out the budget. And I know that that's gonna take me some time, but I do wanna get my totals and I just wanna be able to update it on my app. The total that I got was $3,190, and like I mentioned before, I was keeping track of the amounts that I was taking out from specific funds and making sure that I was writing it as an offset amount. So I'm gonna see if that balances out. We shall see. I hope it does. I think it will. I went ahead and I checked the amount that needed to be offset, and the total was $748, which comes out to be pretty much the amount that I offset. The only amount that I did categorize from a sinking fund last year was the amount that I paid for my cat's surgery, which was $2,500. And the offset amount was $748, so I did a good job. I'm really excited to show you guys this spreadsheet because I have been talking about it for days and I have been working on it for hours. It took me some time, even though I decided I was going to start over and not apply all the information from last year that I had from last year's spreadsheet. So this spreadsheet is actually created by a really awesome creator on YouTube, on Instagram. I'll link her link down below in case you guys are interested in using the spreadsheet, but it's called the 2024 Annual Wealth Dashboard. And this creator, her name on Instagram is My Wealthy Diary. I absolutely love her content. And she's like a super anonymous girl. And I love that. I really, really love that. But anyways, let's go into the spreadsheet. I'm going to show you guys basically as much of the spreadsheet as I can. The first thing I'm going to start off by showing you guys is the setup. The setup is pretty much where you're going to want to create your categories. You're going to want to input your sinking fund information, your investment information, your gross incomes. When I am working with the dashboard, I want to see absolutely everything. I decided to start with the new year. Right here I have my wealth affirmations, which is I am healthy, wealthy, and live an abundant life with my husband and 4 kitty cats. I will spend less to save and invest more. I will become the first millionaire in my family. And actually, I want to put give. I will spend less to save, give, and invest more. I really like this section right here because she has a link to a sample dashboard, and that has been extremely helpful as I'm inputting my information into this spreadsheet. Right here, I set up my categories and subcategories. So I have my gross income. Of course, I only have 2 active incomes right now. Eventually, I would love YouTube to become an active income. Right now, it is not. And then I do have other subcategories within the categories, such as work reimbursement, online selling, refunds. Then I have my pre-tax deductions, my taxes, debt. I have no debt. Investments, savings, and sinking funds. I have my bills and subscriptions, and these are like my main categories where pretty much my expenses are going to come out of. We have bills and subscriptions, housing, transportation, food and eating out, personal, pets, health and fitness, fun, business expenses, gifts and donations, other, and then I have one buffer. It was actually quite difficult to set up these categories and subcategories. I know it may seem like I have a lot of subcategories, but this is really just what works out for me. If for some people, the least amount of subcategories, the better. I think that's great. I hope to get there one day, but I just feel like I need all these subcategories to stay organized and up to date with my spending. Then right here, I have my payment methods. So basically all of my accounts. I have my financial independent goals, which I absolutely love that she's included such a big emphasis on FIRE, which is financial independence, retire early. So right here, we do just have a little snippet of my financial independence goal. We have lean FIRE, then we have FIRE, and then we have fat FIRE. Fire. I have my monthly spending, which is just my basic needs, and that's about $4,000 a month, which is an annual spending of $48,000. Then I have my normal everyday expenses, which is $5,000 a month, and then I have my luxurious lifestyle spending, which is $7,000 a month. And then of course on the bottom it gives you the total overall lean fire goal, and the fat fire goal. Now here we have our annual financial goals. Basically what I want to make this year is $110,000 gross income. I'm looking at this right now and I think I read it wrong when I was inputting it to the dashboard. I thought it was net income, but it's actually net worth goal. Of course, I want my net worth goal to be way higher than $80,000 for the end of this year, but we're gonna look at it as net income. So my annual gross income, I want it to be 110, which would make my net income about $80,000 after taxes. Now my plan is to have my corporate income be 100, which I'm really close to doing. I'm very close. My YouTube income, I would love to make 10,000 this year on YouTube, and I think that's really ambitious, but I really want to make it happen, and when there's a will, there's a way. So I'm really hoping I can get there. Then here I have my annual spending goal for 2024. I do not want my annual spending goal to be any more than $60,000. I did give myself a buffer down here of $800, so that's a total of $60,000, which would then give me enough to have an annual savings rate of 25%. That's not including my current investments right here that you see in the pink of $17,940. So these are automatic investments that are already going to be taken out of my paycheck. So I don't really have to consider them within my 25 annual savings rate goal. I'll consider them at the very end of the year when I'm looking at my total overview. So basically all of this has a lot of wiggle room to have the remaining of the 80,000 minus 60,000, that's $20,000. So $20,000 to work with for my Roth IRA all the way to my future home sinking fund. And I do plan on inputting numbers into this. We'll do that in a separate video. Of course, I don't have an annual debt payoff goal because I don't have any debt. Then right here, I have my wealth building accounts. So I have all my cash accounts, which I consider my sinking funds, and my emergency fund, as well as my future home fund as cash accounts. All of these accounts are going to eventually have the HY on it, which means high yield. Right now, the only one that is in a high yield is my emergency fund, but eventually I want to add the future home account into a high yield, and I actually think that might be in a high yield. I need to look at that. That's actually money that I have yet to input into the spreadsheet. So my net worth that you guys will see on here is not really accurate. And then we have the pre-tax retirement amounts. I have my health savings, my pension from when I was in education, when I was a teacher, my crypto. Then we have post-tax. We have 401k Roth IRA, 403b, and then I have another 401k Roth from when I was working at a university at Hawaii Pacific University. The 403b, I do plan on transferring that money into my 401k Roth. Real estate and taxable investment accounts, nothing there. Other assets, we have our cars. So we have a Honda, Tacoma, and a Scion. We don't have a mortgage and we don't have debt. Very limited liabilities, which is great. Now the next tab is the transactions tab, and as you guys can see, there's already a good amount of it that's already filled up. And what I really love about this spreadsheet is that right here you can go to a specific month. Of course, we're only in January, so it's not giving me more options. And then you can select a specific category. So if I wanted to look at all my 401k Roth, I select that and it'll highlight 401k Roth. So it makes it easier for me to jump around. Let's see, let's show you guys a better example. Let's do food and eating out. There should be a good amount of those that pop up. Right. As you guys can see, majority of it is groceries. I did a really great job this month at not eating out, which I'm really proud of. We've actually been doing really good the past few months, which is great. I do foresee us eating out a lot more next month because it is Dylan's birthday. But I think we've been doing a good job overall. The next spreadsheet is my net worth spreadsheet. So like I said, the net worth that is shown right here is not really my current net worth. This is, I guess, more of a safer net worth. I'm not gonna put my full entire net worth yet because, to be honest, I have a lot of numbers to still input on here, and I guess I don't really know exactly where my net worth falls, but I do have a bit of an idea. So this is kind of like my safe net worth right now. And then we do have an asset breakdown. Once more, it's not exact. Keep in mind, I still haven't inputted the amount of my full entire sinking funds, as well as another high yield savings account, which is the home fund. That money isn't fully in there yet. There's a couple of things that aren't accounted for. Investments, home equity, other assets. I really love how it gives this breakdown. It's really awesome. But the same applies to everything except for home equity. Not everything in my life is accounted for right now in this net worth. Now, we have data information on here. I'm not gonna get too into it. And we have the balances of the net worth. Once more, not everything is accounted for, as you guys can see. And I do need to hide some of these tabs just to make it a little bit more easier to maneuver around here. Then one of my most favorite features of the spreadsheet is the no spend feature. I absolutely love this. You can put exceptions, so of course I have a lot of exceptions here, which are pretty much just my rent and my subscriptions, and I should put on here groceries, but it's fine. The no spend goal is 15 days. I did a pretty good job. We reached 16 days so far. I do know that I'm gonna be spending some money on Monday, hopefully just on groceries, and that's it. But we'll see. This is definitely one of my most favorite features of the spreadsheet. Then we have sinking funds. Like I said, this is something that I'm gonna be filling out later. I'm not gonna be filling it out right now. I want to do that as a whole separate video just because I know it's going to take me a long time, and I already know that this video is going to be very lengthy. And what's really cool about the sinking funds, though, before I move forward, is that each sinking fund has like its own little image. Anytime that you fill something in, the image will change, will either fill up in color. So I have changed a couple of the images myself, just to make it a little bit more of my preference. And then there's an annual review, which basically gives you the full view of everything that you're spending, which is amazing. I absolutely love it. So it gives me my investment rate, it gives me my total breakdown of investments, my wants and my needs, which I need to be able to see. It gives you an income breakdown and a spending breakdown as well. Savings versus investments. It gives you a lot of different data. I really love the data on this spreadsheet. Then we have additional tabs such as the months of the year, and within these tabs you have your budget breakdown. So right here we have my January budget. On the top we have what is left to budget, and then we have what is left to spend. We have income, bills and expenses, investments, savings, and debt paid. Of course, I don't have any debt, so you'll never really see anything in that section. Hopefully never will, at least until I own a home. Then we have the cash flow summary. We have the income. Of course, because I have a gross income dashboard, I'm gonna have to input information for my pre-tax deductions, my taxes, as well as my investments, even though my investments are coming out of my paycheck. So it is post-tax, I believe. Some of them are pre-tax as well. And then we have savings. We have a where my money went section where I can see that I'm paying a lot of bills. who isn't? I'm hoping that this will be reduced once we move in May. We definitely are paying way more money than we should be at this apartment, and we can be paying less for an actual house. So I'm really looking forward to that. Then we have, this one's really cool, this little section, because right here I can track specific categories. So I'm tracking my groceries, eating out, personal. I am over budget by 1801. Dylan, beauty, fun. I am definitely over budget a little bit more because I haven't inputted the transactions that I input earlier on my Money Plus app. I'm gonna do this right after I'm done showing you guys the different tabs. So I'm definitely over probably $40 on personal amount. Dylan is never over, really. It's very rare if he ever gets over, but I think this month he's gonna be a little closer to his 200 personal amount. Beauty, I'm actually really proud that there was nothing to spend on beauty. I went to Target today to do some returns and do a little bit of shopping, grocery shopping, and as I was getting to Target, there's an Ulta on the way to Target, and I was so tempted to go to Ulta and buy something for my eyebrows. I actually do need it. I ran out completely. It's a shade, it's a color, eyebrow color, a pencil, I can't think. And I decided not to, and I'm proud that I didn't. I'm very proud of myself. So, nothing on beauty yet, but next month I probably will be going to Ulta to spend some money on beauty. And then I have fun, which we have a little bit left over to spend. I think this month we are definitely going over fun, unless I want to allocate certain activities that are happening in February. So I know Dylan bought some snowboarding tickets today, and I'm not sure whether I want to keep it at this month or I want to move it over to next month. I'm really not sure, but I'll figure that out once I start inputting the rest of the information for this month. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty of stuff. So here we have the bills, we have housing, and then we have, of course, the subcategories within. I really love that we can click this little check mark, whether it's paid or not paid. Of course, these are already paid because it is the 28th. Then we have the subcategories right here. And if you see on the difference area, you get it marked as either green or red. So we have transportation, food and eating out. Personal is red. I'm in the red, $18.01. Then we have fun, business expenses. We have gifts and donation. Then I have an other section and a buffer. So that's pretty cool. We also have an income breakdown. We have a spending breakdown, and we have a savings and investment breakdown. Below here, I don't have anything because I believe this is a debt breakdown. And finally, the last section on the spreadsheet when you are pretty much ready to close out your budget is your monthly money reflection, which I'm actually really excited to fill out. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna input my transactions. I'm gonna go over my January budget. I'm gonna go over my amounts in my checking account where the left to spend amounts come from. Then we're gonna fill out the monthly money reflections together. So let's take care of everything. Let's start inputting some numbers. Here comes the big reveal. All the transactions are added, so now let's go back to my January budget. It says right here that we have left to spend $217 with 96 cents. So far, so good. I didn't fill up my monthly financial goals. Last thing that I wanted to think about at the beginning of the month when I set this up was goals. I feel like for February, I will add monthly financial goals because I have a really good idea based on my spending this month, what I want to work on next month. All right, left to budget, $277 with 99 cents. And once more, left to spend $217 with 96 cents. Let's look at our overall budget. Starting off with our bills, everything is paid for, which is awesome. And we do have a yearly subscription, so this is actually the yearly subscription for the Money Plus app that I use. So I'm gonna put, I think that was due recently, so let me check my iPad. That was due on the 25th. And I didn't budget for it, but I'm gonna go ahead and add it. I did know that it was coming due sometime this month or next month. I thought it was February, so I was gonna add it to February's budget, but that's perfectly fine. Left to budget, we're still at a really good number, $271.72. And then let's go to our household items. We have a difference of $3.90 left. I did budget $100 for the month of January. The actual amount spent was $96.10. Difference of $3.90. Toiletries, budget of $80. Actual spent was $74.08. Difference was $5.92. So all of these amounts are being plugged out from my transactions right here. For example, I have toiletries right here. So I put Costco toiletries, toilet paper. So that amount is being plugged from this transaction spreadsheet. If I go back to my January spreadsheet, this is the difference now. So I have remaining of $5.92 to spend in toiletries. And up next we have transportation. I set aside $80 for this month just in case. I knew that we weren't going to be going to California. We weren't going to be doing a lot of driving. I do work from home. We really only use one car. Sometimes we use the Tacoma, but we mainly use the Honda, and the Honda is really great on gas. And I still don't even need to fill it up. I will for sure need to fill it up in February. I do hope that we get to go to California closer to the end of February. Here we have food and eating out. So grocery budget was $460 and we went over $93.86. And I'm still gonna go over the amount tomorrow because I need to buy a couple of groceries that I'm out of. I don't think I'm gonna be spending a lot of money on groceries though. Now, here's the thing. We did spend extra on groceries this month because I had an event that I hosted. It was a paint and sip event and I did buy pizza. I also bought a couple of other groceries that I added onto the appetizer table pretty much. Everybody came with some food in their tummies and I provided pizza amongst other things like coffee, hot chocolate. So I knew that I was potentially going to go over budget. I wanted to add an additional $100 to the $460, but I was hopeful that if I tried to not go over budget, I wouldn't, and unfortunately, I failed. So we are definitely close to 100 over, and I just should have added that amount to the original budget. Completely fine, no worries on that. For eating out, our budget was $125, but we only spent $45.24. So the difference that we have remaining is $79.76 for the month of January. I do think I forgot to mention that the budget amounts that I have here are actually coming from my initial setup. When we go back to my initial setup, here I have my spending plan, and what I did, I actually went ahead and within each category, I totaled up my subcategories. On my Apple phone, I opened up a new notes sheet, and from each category of my spending plan, I went into the subcategories. I totaled up the amounts within each subcategory. So for example, in housing, we have household items and toiletries. So this amount is between those two categories. And each category has its specific amount. And what I did is I divided that specific amount by 12. That amount that I divided by 12, I basically transferred over from the previous year. I averaged every single month what I spent and just got the average number and tweaked it a little bit if I felt like I could spend less, and decided, okay, this is what I'm gonna spend in a year each month for this category in the year 2024. So these budgeted amounts are actually goal amounts from my initial setup of my spending plan. I really want to make an effort to stay within the budgeted amount, and or at least if I don't stay within the budgeted amount, overall stay within the yearly spend plan amount. I hope that makes sense. Let's move on. The next one that we have is personal, pets, health, and fitness. In this one here, we have my personal section. And as you guys can see, the amount went up, just like I said it was gonna go up. I budgeted $150 for myself. The actual was $193.37. I have a difference of negative 43 with 37 cents. I should probably start saying that negative. I just keep saying the whole number. For Dylan, $150. He spent $88.48. So he has a remaining balance of $61.52. For my kitty cats, went over. I didn't think I was gonna go over, but that's perfectly fine. $116, but we spent $146 with 60 cents, and we are negative $30.60. For beauty, I think I mentioned earlier in my video that I completely skipped Ulta, and I was so proud of myself. And you know what? I'm still proud of myself for doing that, because I forgot I got my nails done this month. I completely forgot. I completely forgot I got my nails done. They're beautiful though. I love them. But I did spend a good money on them, and however though, I'm not in the red. I'm left with $10 for my beauty amount, which is great. And here we have healthcare. I budgeted $60. The actual amount spent was $53.66. We have a difference of $6.34. Next category is fun. And within fun, we have fun and travel. So I should probably change that name to fun and travel. But for fun, I budgeted $300, but we only spent $284 with 26 cents. And then the difference is $15.74. And then we have travel. So for travel, I budgeted $0 and we spent $65 with 25 cents. I am thinking that maybe this amount I'm gonna transfer over to next month, because this travel is a booked hotel for me. I'm gonna be taking a staycation while Dylan has a get-together with his family for his birthday in February. So technically that amount is for February. It's just I booked the hotel early, just so that I can be prepared. I am really considering on transferring that over, just because it makes more sense. It's for next month. I just booked it a little bit early. Business expenses, I just have my Canva on here. So it's always gonna pretty much be the same for business expenses for the meantime. And I didn't have to add anything else to any other category. Gifts and donations. So for gifts, I did budget $222.33. Very random number, but like I said, this is coming from my yearly spending goal divided by 12. So per month, I can spend $222.33. As of right now, I have $0, but tomorrow I will be transferring some money over to my nephew because it is his birthday tomorrow and he's turning 18. And that's a big milestone, right? You're becoming an adult. So I do want to give him about $50 or so, just so that he can have some money to spend for his birthday. Then we have other. For other, I budgeted for miscellaneous. Coco is actually my dog, but she pretty much belongs to my father now, so I still sometimes pay for a couple of things for her, just to help out my parents. I didn't budget anything, and they did have to go to the vet recently, but it wasn't that big of a bill. I'm gonna save whatever I have accounted for her for a bigger vet visit that she's gonna have a little bit further down the line. They want to do a bit of blood work and a couple of ultrasounds, and I think I'm gonna give that to my parents so that they can take care of that big vet bill that they're going to get. Miscellaneous, I am always gonna budget $20 a month, because I like to use that as a buffer. I want to try my best to categorize all of my spending for this year, but there's always something very random that pops up. So far this month, we've gotten nothing. I just decided to do offsets, but I'm not gonna include my offsets in here because they kind of work themselves out within the categories. But this month, nothing necessary for miscellaneous, which is good. So now let's fill out my monthly money reflection. So what went well this month? What were my money wins? For sure, eating out. Eating out was a big money win. Eating out was a huge money win. Only spent, how much did I spend? Let's go back. We only spent $45.24 on eating out. I would say that another money win was setting up this budget spreadsheet. Took a long time, but I got it done. Now I'm proud of myself for that. Well, so far, between my bills and expenses based off the information up here, my budgeted amount was $4,768 with 53 cents. But so far I'm under that. So that's pretty awesome. And I know I will for sure stay under that because there's only a couple of days left in this month and I already know exactly what we need to buy these next few days. We're really just gonna go grocery shopping tomorrow. I really don't see myself spending those $200 tomorrow. There's just no way. So let's celebrate that. My actual amount of bills and expenses is lower than my budget. Don't know how to spell. I'm so tired. Perfect. What didn't go well this month? I would say that I went over on personal and I really didn't want to. I wanted to stay within personal and I'm kind of bummed that we went over our grocery amount. Yeah, I'd say personal and groceries was over. Personal and grocery subcategory was over budgeted amount. Sad. I didn't invest as much as I wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to invest more. I wanted to make that happen, and it might still happen on Monday. It might. We'll see. I want to first take care of my sinking funds, the most important ones that need to be taken care of. I have 3 of them, so who knows? We'll see. What can I improve and work on for next month? I think that I can definitely improve. I can improve on my personal and grocery spending, for sure. For sure grocery, like for sure. Personal, it might be a little hard, but when there's a will, there's a way. I feel like I can. I can for sure improve on my investing more, as well as giving. I want to try to give a little bit more this year. I don't have a big goal for donation. If we go back to my setup and we go to gifts and donations, I set aside $1,400. I don't have that big of an amount for donations because through my job, I can donate about $500. So I am kind of, in a way, including that amount for my yearly goals, but not actually including it into my spreadsheet. Give a little more. And that's it. That's pretty much it. I can honestly close out this budget comfortably. I know I'm still gonna go over groceries perfectly fine, but I don't think I'll be going over anything else other than groceries tomorrow, to be honest. I really don't. I will be gifting my nephew $50 tomorrow, but I'll be within the budget, so that's perfectly fine as well. Other than that, the only thing I think where I might have some money coming out of will be my Etsy amount. But overall, I'm really happy with January, and I'm really happy that we stayed below our means. And by below our means is that our actual amount was lower than our budgeted amount. So pat in the back. Good job to us. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it if you stayed all this way through. This is definitely a long video, I know, but I wanted to make sure that I went into detail on my spending for this month and how I'm setting myself up for success. I am excited to open up my February budget with you guys, as well as going over my sinking funds and my money movement Mondays, and as well as everything else that has to do with finance. I, of course, hope to keep getting better at this and keep learning and keep growing with you guys. I have so many more ideas that are coming down along the way. So if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. It will really help support my channel, and let me know what you're doing to get yourself into financial independence. And whether you're on the whole FIRE movement, then retire early. But yeah, I like to know what you're up to. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.